you think it is?
I've no idea.
Bomb?
We'll go fishing a square bow. Good grief. It's a shrunken head.
Yes, I've been expecting it.
As Chief Inspector of Scotland Yard, I often disagree with the methods employed by Sherlock Holmes. He's logical at times, I admit, but certainly not what I would call standard procedure. On the other hand, when I'm faced with a situation which defies logic, I sometimes drop in on him for a reaction, unofficial of course. He has helped on occasions. On occasions.
This is a devilish business, Holmes. Good morning, Dr. Watson. Good morning, Inspector. Do you know what I received in the post this morning? Something vile, Doctor. Something obscene. I do hope I don't shock you.
Sounds interesting, Lestrade. What would that be? Oh, a shrunken head.
We had one for breakfast.
Yes, the heads are part of a collection stolen from Mr. James McIntyre's home in Hampstead.
The famous explorer who's missing.
Yes, apparently the thieves took him as well.
His wife came to see me.
Yes, I sent it to you.
But I still don't see why.
Why we are the recipients of such unfortunate gifts? Simple.
Not to me.
In racing parlance, Lestrade, we're being warned off. Told to keep out of this.
It's certainly a grisly warning. What do you think the thief will do next?
Send a ransom note, I expect.
Where?
Here.
Why should they do that?
Take my word for it, Inspector. We shall receive a message delivered by a red-haired cabman with a straggling moustache and a black patch over one eye.
What? You've just observed him at the front door.
I'm Sherlock Holmes. You brought me a letter. Given to you on the rank by a Latin gentleman of swarthy countenance. Thank you.
What does it say?
£50,000 or we send you McIntyre's head.
Do you think he's bluffing?
Mrs. McIntyre spoke about this man, Mendoza, a Latin adventurer, and an old enemy of her husband's. Who can say?
Let me see that.
I can tell you this, Watson. We've been making jokes, but we're dealing with an extremely dangerous man.
And an extremely confident one.
Indeed. He challenges us both, Inspector.
We'll be a match for him.
I hope so. But be wary, Lestrade. Those shrunken heads contained a message.
Message?
Not a written message, a symbolic message. He's threatening our lives as well, yes. It's quite clear. Stay away.
You realize, of course, that Mrs. McIntyre is physically not a strong person.
Yes, and under the circumstances, she's holding up very well.
Did she manage to raise the £50,000?
I believe so.
Lestrade won't want you to hand it over.
I know. He'll want a suitcase full of old newspapers.
He couldn't propose anything so foolish.
Old newspapers. Cut up. That's the thing to do.
Oh, come on. The fellow's a crook, a shyster. My father knew him, had dealings with him. He's not going to get caught by an imbecilic trick like that.
We know what we're doing, young man.
Freddie, what do you think, Mr. Holmes?
What is paramount is the safety of your husband, Mrs. McIntyre. Only then can we seek to engage or trick the kidnapper.
I agree. You know as well as I do, Holmes, that once this ruffian gets his hands on the money...
I shan't let him have it until I see for myself that my father is alive and well.
You, Freddie?
I shall insist on going myself.
It's better if I send one of my men, sir.
Let's see what Mendoza says, shall we?
Mendoza?
I observed the ubiquitous cabman at the door. Come with a message, you may be sure.
Well, how did this Mendoza know we were here?
Exactly. He seems to know our every move, Watson. Extraordinary, isn't it?
Mr. Holmes.
Thank you. Detailed directions for delivery of the money by your son, Freddie. Grave threats if the police are anywhere to be seen. You must be careful, Lestrade.
He won't know we're there. We'll nab him, you'll see.
Warehouse is in that courtyard just round the corner. An excellent situation. This place is like a warren.
It is indeed. You know, that's a happy fellow over there, quite content, frying up his supper, guarding his hole in the road.
Guarding more than that, Watson. He's one of Lestrade's men.
Good heavens.
And the drunken Romeo. Watch their shiny boots, Watson.
Holmes, you amaze me.
Sometimes Lestrade amazes me. I'm not sure that girl wasn't the policeman.
Signore, penny for the musica?
Hey, Lestrade, you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you, Holmes. You'd better move on.
Here you are, my good man.
Gracias, senor. I thought his disguise was jolly good.
Will Mendoza see through it? That's the question. Ah. Right on top. Come.
Is it Mendoza?
Young Freddie.
Is there really £50,000 in that case?
Oh, yes. Mrs. McIntyre's rich family donated it. Reluctantly, but they did. Now we will see. Father? Father?